Welcome, everyone, to the Dynasty Gambit special draft startup edition. So Kyle Senra here. Hamid, Doc are out. Maybe Hamid will join us. I don't want to make any promises on his behalf, but we'll see. That's still a possibility. I guess someone's phone's excited to be here. Hope all the listeners and viewers are excited to be here. I know I certainly am. Got two great guests here. Going to talk some Dynasty. Specifically Dynasty startups. So, I guess we'll say usual guest. I almost want to call you a co-host. You're on so many of these episodes, and you always provide such great Dynasty insights. So, Gerson Aguirre, everyone, how's it going, G?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Gladys, not me. Wait, you mean Gladys? No, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm excited. Football. This is season-long redraft week kickoff, basically. Mm-hmm. So I have two home league drafts this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I got one Saturday as well. And then, yes, our other guest for the show, Gladys. I don't think you've been on this show yet before, but a host here on the Going for Two live network. In the off season, it's been the 2-point conversion, shifting that to the Monday night show. Which I think, are we still calling it the 2-point conversion on Mondays? Either way, Gladys, how are you doing? Thanks for coming.
I'm doing pretty good. I have in the middle of a draft now, not a Dynasty draft, of course. And hi, Doc. And then I have a home league draft this Sunday, and then one the following Sunday on the 5th. So I'm getting pretty excited. Season's getting near. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah. Fun.
What up, Doc?
Yeah, I completely, and yes, as the Doc's here in spirit. So Doc was one of the participants. There's 12 of us in this startup. I decided to put together for the, technically it's called the Full Press Coverage Listener League, but I'll be honest, half the league's for Going for Two, so maybe I mistitled that initially. So it honestly is a fun time. I know for some people it was their first Dynasty leagues. There's a few of us that have been in the format before, but I thought it was a really interesting draft to see how things went, and even for the first timers, I don't think anyone torpedoed their team off the bat. I know, Gerson, you're usually pretty critical, so maybe I know if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's anyone here that we're automatically pointing at, this team.
Whoa! Why make me look like a bad guy, man? I'm just
not the bad guy. Just you've got so much experience with Dynasty, and I know you've been doing those 32 team. Videos, okay. Right? So you get at ranking and
Okay. I thought you meant you're an asshole, G. Just to keep our team, I am an asshole though. People say that. I don't know why, but yeah.
I've never heard anyone say that.
I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
I would slap them right then and there in their face.
Do we have the draft board? Maybe we can
I'm just sending out some tweets right now, and I'll get to that in a second. I'll bring it up on the screen. That's a really good point, Gerson. Almost like your host. You've been hosting quite a bit this week, so are you doing any more of those shows afterwards?
Yeah. After today's show, I was gonna do wide receiver, but wide receiver, to finalize all my notes and all my research, it's gonna take me 2 hours, 3 hours. So I was no, because I had this show and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So I'm going to do tight ends and defense today, basically right after this show at 9:00. Oh yeah, it's just after this show, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so we won't keep you too long, then.
No, fine. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was I think I was not completely truthful. This was my first Dynasty to draft from the beginning. I'm apparently I am in the Capitalist Pig 2 League, which is a Dynasty league, I think. But it was an orphan team, so it was a team that I picked up that had already drafted, and I just drafted or did the auction draft for rookies. But this was the first time that I actually, from the very inception, drafted Dynasty, which was kind of interesting because I'm always in the redraft format. So, and G was the only one who figured out that I wasn't taking trade offers that involved 2022. Like people were offering me 20, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 2022. And G was finally like, okay, you can get this year, and I'm like, yes, I'll do it. I'll trade with anyone for this year. But G was the only one who figured it out, and I'm like, okay, it's on.
I did a lot of trade though, so.
Well, that was we can talk about some of those. I know Alice Pickus here saying fantasy football never sleeps, Gerson. So I think you've been the embodiment of that this week. I'm calling you the MVG, not the MVP, the most valuable Gerson for the Going for Two Network this week with all those videos. So glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And here we are. I'm just gonna pull up that draft now.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys could see the screen, if that's working.
No.
So
Let me see if can we go to the draft screen?
Sorry, let me figure that out again.
Kyle, you see the one that has the 3 screens, and then you got to put share screen on the bottom in the middle. So there's just share screen, and then I believe.
Is this working? I guess not.
Do you have 2 monitors?
I did this a week ago and it worked. Apparently, I lost my touch. Well, while I figured out, I'll get you guys to do some talking here. Just quickly, the first 4 picks, just to focus on that. It's a super flex, no tight end premium, balanced rosters, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 10 total starters in a 12 team. So Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, and Christian McCaffrey. So any just big thoughts on there? Was that the 4 kind of expected picks or anything really shocking?
I think we should talk the first 5 picks because that's where the shocking was. The 5th pick.
What was
the 5th pick, Justin Herbert.
Yeah. Okay. To me, there was not really a shocking. I probably would have had Kyler Murray over Josh Allen, but overall, those 4 guys were pretty shocked to me. Justin Herbert was a surprise to me. I love rookie quarterbacks, but to have Justin Herbert as the 5th, I mean, like the 5th pick. I mean, I probably would have taken either Dak or Lamar. No, I probably just would have taken Dak over Herbert. But I understand it, but it's just I don't know if I really want to put all my faith on Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and go ahead, Gladys.
No, go on. I'm sorry.
Well, because Rojo Truther, as you can see, it has the screen sharing. Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. You're good.
Okay. So Rojo Truther, my friend Akili. So I talked pretty closely with him after he made the pick, and he was saying you were hesitant to say Lamar Jackson, right? And I think he wanted to go with a younger quarterback. I think maybe hesitation with the Dak injury. I guess he was debating between Herbert, Jackson, and he just feels that Herbert has the more long-term viability. He feels like Jackson will never prove enough as a passer to like extend that career long enough. So I think that was his motivation there. Okay. I agree with you. Is that I probably would have taken Jackson there personally, but to me, the top 6 quarterbacks were the first 6 that went. So like in that regard, like who those quarterbacks were, I wasn't surprised. Maybe a bit about the order.
Yeah. Gladys?
I was actually wanting to take a quarterback in the first round. Like I wanted actually Lamar Jackson was who I was hoping to get. And then once Jackson went, I was like, what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go Kyle Pitts. I'm going to go. My initial strategy, if you want to call it strategy, which it really isn't, but my initial thought was I'm just going to go young. I'm going to go young and I'm going to go high ceiling young.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that right now, actually. The decision to go with 2 rookies right off the bat, Pitts and Harris. So, I mean, are you indicating that Pitts is your number 1 dynasty tight end by making him a first-round startup pick?
My number 1 dynasty tight end. Yeah. Yes. If I'm looking in the long range, yes. If I was in a redraft, would I have picked him that early? Never. I would have not picked him in the first round. Now that I say that, I have to think if I did. But no, I would have not picked Pitts in the first round in a redraft. But in the Dynasty, I had no problem. I think Doc was the one who said, I told him, I'm just going to all right, I'm going to just swing for the fences now. I'm just going to go young and my first couple picks. Although the Tannehill pick isn't necessarily young, but the Pitts and the Harris, I had no problem going rookie for those two. Because to me, for rookies, they're the two best rookies in that position, in their positions. And if I could have gotten Chase, I would have gotten Chase too, but he was gone, I believe. So, yeah.
And I think you bring up an interesting point, right? Pitts may be like number one in value, but not necessarily going to be the number one tight end in production this year. But like the value encompasses more than just the points. It's trade value and longevity. So and I don't think you're the only one to have Pitts as like the first they take in a startup either. I think that's kind of becoming common. Gerson, have you seen Pitts as a first round startup yet, or is Gladys one of the most aggressive people? Which I guess kudos to you, Gladys, on that regard.
The thing is, so I mean, I this is dumb, but this is not a tight end premium, is it?
No.
Okay, so that was my biggest issue with that pick. Like as soon as I saw that, I was interested to see her next pick, and as soon as she picked Najee Harris, I knew she was just going to go all young and build for a 3-year window, which she did perfect because she had a lot of players like Judy, Chanel, Darnell Mooney, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Pat Freiermuth, and no, that's my pick.
I'm pissed by that too, Gerson.
Yeah.
Because I looked at it and I was like, I did pick Pat. And then I'm like, no, that's the trade with Gerson. Gerson picked Pat.
So, I mean, her build makes sense. But the value of Kyle Pitt in the first round in a non-tight end, not a tight end premium league, I thought maybe she could have waited to the second round because it was on the turn and probably gotten Kyle Pitt there. But who would she selected with that pick? Jonathan Taylor probably would have been a better fit rather than Najee Harris, in my opinion. So she
That's
could probably.
because you love Jonathan Taylor.
Oh well, Saquon Barkley, you could have taken him too, So
Right.
I'm just being honest here, but I like your team. It's young. It's built for 3 years. What you targeted, you did.
And to be fair, but even like Chris Carson in the 6th, knowing that if the value is there, you weren't afraid to get a player that was going to produce points, less about the youth and the future tradability of Carson. But so you complemented it well afterwards, finding those veterans that can produce, thinking that like the high-end expensive assets are usually younger ones, and you can get the veterans for cheaper. So like, because Carson at 603, even in a super flex, that seems like that's really good value. Like a few of us maybe let him slide a little too far there.
Yeah. I think we're all scared of a running back that kind of pushing toward the age and second contract. Those are big in startup.
So,
go ahead.
So I do have a question for Gladys. Any temptation? I know you mentioned, okay, Pitts is the number one rookie tight end. Harris is the number one rookie running back. Was there any temptation at all there to go with a rookie quarterback in one of the picks, knowing it was super flex? Was there any temptation for Lawrence if he fell, or Fields Lance?
I actually was targeting Justin Fields. I actually wanted Justin Fields pretty bad, and I waited too long for him. If I would have, I think I could have probably taken Fields on that turn and maybe still gotten Harris, although it looked like it was going to be a running back run, and that was what my fear was, that he would be one of the top running backs gone. And so I was hoping Fields lasted to the turn back. So, yeah, I wanted a younger quarterback to go with Tannehill, but once Fields was gone, then I was kind of like, Yeah.
You might have got one of the most productive points quarterbacks. Yeah, and I mean, he's 30 now, but I mean, he's a bit younger than some of the other quarterbacks too. So I was hoping to get Tannehill actually at my 3-4 turn. So that was one of the biggest like snipes that really upset me throughout the whole draft. So kudos to you on that, Gladys.
Thanks.
Did I snipe you at all, Kyle, on any pick?
You what?
Sorry?
Did I snipe you at all, Kyle, on any pick?
Let's see.
Nothing
Gerson.
ever as hard as Tannehill, but again, quarterbacks, right? Just going through. Yeah, you traded a lot because you ended up trading so far away from us that like you and I didn't really pick next to each other very much, Gerson.
Oh yeah,
maybe late. Jacoby Myers. I was thinking, and I took Nelson Aguilar immediately after. I was torn. I was considering Myers there, to be honest. I think I like him a little more than Aguilar, so that'd be one.
Hey, Gerson, do you always trade this much, or is it just the Dynasty? Do you always trade this much in all your leagues?
Yeah, I trade for value. That's what I do. Yes. I understood, like, just to answer my question, if you look at the board, like what Kyle's cooking right now, if you scroll up, I basically had 2 second-rounders because I got Kamara and then Aaron Rodgers at the end. I knew Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to fall anymore. Like, I knew he wasn't gonna, like, someone was gonna take him before my turn. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get Aaron Rodgers. And then I saw Kelsey drop. I'm like, okay, what do I gotta pay? So I don't care about 2022 draft, guys. The 2022 draft is so damn weak that the way you're gonna get the most value out of those picks is by trading them now for players that are gonna either be proven or young rookie that that you have a lot of confidence in. Like, I had a lot of confidence in Travis Kelce being the best tight end for the next 2 years at least. So I traded up for him, and I had confidence Aaron Rodgers is going to be a top 10 quarterback in Dynasty. Well, not Dynasty. I guess you could say just top 10 producer. And to get that, and then I didn't draft in the 4th round. I don't think so, right?
Yeah, I don't see any in the 4th.
Yeah. I didn't draft in the 4th, but
then you get extra 5th round pick back to back, actually.
Yeah, and I traded in for. I wanted to get my wide receivers. I wanted to get my core. I couldn't believe my boy Julio Jones dropped that far though. Like, it was so sad. I was like, you guys are dicks. You know that? I'm gonna. But I was so happy. Who better to have Julio Jones than me? But
608. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at that, all that trading in for all those players, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players already by the
by the 6th round. Really, yeah. And you had almost your entire. But then, another gap, right? After those elite, probably like thinking those elite assets are gone, then suddenly these are players you don't care about as much.
Mm-hmm. So that was my strategy.
So
you don't pick again. 6'11" and then 10'02". So you went like 3.5 rounds without picking there, but you also again had 8 starters kind of firmly established at that point.
When you trade, like when you offer a trade, are you targeting a specific player?
Yeah, well,
when you traded and got Pat were you targeting him? Because if you would have told me that, I probably wouldn't have traded with you anyway. So I just want you to know that.
Wait, like, what trade? Pat Freiermuth?
Yes.
Yeah, I was Pat Freiermuth. He was on my radar. The thing is with Pat Freiermuth, he's probably this year's best tight end, in my opinion. Well, next to Kyle Pitts. Sorry. Next to Kyle Pitts. Damn, that was so stupid. Don't ever record that. Just edit that out, Kyle.
This is live, Gerson.
Nobody heard that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it feels like they're gonna line Kyle Pitts as a wide receiver. He's not really gonna play tight end, so that's why you were mistaken.
That's why you said that.
About him.
Yeah.
So to answer
Atlanta.
To answer your question, Gladys. So when I trade, I use a trade calculator that gives me a startup pick value. Okay. So I want to make sure that the trade is even, or I'm gonna say it's in favor of me. It's up to the other person to digest that trade and evaluate it. It's not for me. Like, hey, I'm gonna send you the offer. I'm not putting a gun to your head and say accept it. I'm just offering it, and then that's it. I know the players I'm targeting if they fall there, but I also always look at the team ahead of me, see what they have and what they need. Because if he needs a quarterback, if the next 4 teams need a quarterback, I'm not getting my guy, and I'm not gonna pay. I'm gonna jump ahead of them, and rather than be behind them.
Right.
Yeah, trying to figure out where those runs are happening.
Yeah.
There were a few
And-
runs, I felt.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because like we were kind of Gerson and I guess I were partially responsible for a running back run here. Right immediately after you took it, there's 6 running backs in the next 7 picks. So Gerson went Barkley, Kamara, John Taylor went on that turn, that 112. And then Gladys, you took Najee Harris, so you're partially responsible too. I took Nick Chubb and then Antonio Gibson, right? So there was kind of the people who, because we know Doc, listen back to last week's episode, Doc has Antonio Gibson as, I think, his Dynasty running back 4.
Yeah. Wow.
3 or 4. He's really high on Gibson, so makes sense that he would take him there. I've got Chubb as my Dynasty RB4, so it makes sense I would take him in that turn. I think that was kind of, we were all planting our flag on these are the guys we think are going to be top 5 running backs, really, because I'm glad I know the rookie value on Najee, but I'm also thinking you probably expect him to do really well this year. Like he'd be a top 12 running back potentially.
Oh, easily.
I have actually top 10, but yeah.
Makes sense to then make him your RB1 then, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, G?
No, I like that. I think I have Najee at running back 11 for redraft, and for Dynasty, he's a top 12 running back for me. I don't know what number I have Najee. Let me pull up my ranking, but I know I'm very high on Najee. He's one of my, I guess you could say, my guys on the running back list that I put out yesterday. But yeah, I love Najee.
Hey, Kevin.
And I mean, to be fair, 203, like I think for all of us doesn't seem early, but that might be a little earlier than consensus. But I also think it seems like at least like the 3 of us at that corner of the turn, you're in a group of people that really like Najee Harris. Just knowing from a few other people in this draft, I feel like that's kind of the same case as well. So like this made sense to be a league where Harris was going to go maybe a little earlier than what people expected because we're all really high on Najee.
Yeah, for sure. Should we talk about Docs and what's his name, Hamid team?
It's funny because Doc built kind of a similar build that I did. 3 running backs pretty early in the first 4 rounds. Doc also managed to get got an extra 4th round pick. Those seen on the screen. So kind of like Uger said, I guess it seems like one thing he did, he sacrificed, doesn't have an 8th round pick. He doesn't. But makes up for that by having an extra 4th. I mean, that's pretty good, even if you're giving up future draft capital. I think I actually really like the way Doc built his team. I tried to trade up that spot to get Lamar Jackson. Ultimately, I got the next spot with Prescott. But yeah, just the running backs early: Gibson, Elliott, Eckler. What do we think about that trio there? Just Gibson, Eckler, Elliott. Like that seems like a pretty solid 1-2-3 punch at running back. They could all be top 12 guys, really.
I mean, that's a great trio. I mean, I had 2 of those. I just did a redraft league last week, and I had Gibson, Elliott, and rest in peace, Travis Etienne. But I also drafted another running back. I can't remember. I know I got 4 running backs to start out the draft. But Kyle already knows I'm a running back guy first. I can find value in wide receivers by trading or hopefully a Rashad Bateman or Rondell Moore becomes something special, But Doc did excellent, man. Like, the guy killed it. I loved his draft because he went with his studs, like, right off the bat. He built his starting lineup, and he traded his picks. But I think Doc is kind of on the same mindset that 2022 draft is not that strong. And so he has a win-now team, but also he has some good players like Cole Kmet. His bench does worry me a little bit, though. Not a lot of players I'm excited about. Like, I'm looking at his bench and it's just a little bit worrisome, but his starting lineup is monsterish.
If his starting lineup stays healthy, it's especially with that trio of running backs. I really, really liked his running backs. Like, I thought out of all of them, to get Gibson, Austin Eckler, and Elliott, I mean, you can't really do much better than that.
Yeah, and Hopkins.
Yeah, then Hopkins as your
Jesus.
top 2 receivers. I mean,
And
they could both be top
Andrews.
12 receivers. Yep.
His tight end is going to be top 5, 6 at least.
And, he traded up at particular spots when it didn't seem like it cost too much, right? Traded up to get your third running back, traded up to get that second quarterback when it seemed like, there was a bit of a run on quarterbacks. What round was that? There was the end of the 6th, early 7th. There's 5 quarterbacks in like a 6, 7, pick, 8 pick span. So kind of getting into those runs when, he needed his QB2 at that point. So smart, he was purposeful when he traded his picks, because you see by the end of the draft, he didn't really, but he did it when he needed to at particular moments. Yeah. So, I guess Doc can comment if he wants. I guess my screen sharing this. The one thing I'll say about his bench, you mentioned Komet, Diami, Brown as young guys, but it's mostly a redraft bench, which for a win now team isn't so bad. That's end of the bench you're churning out constantly anyway. You may as well get guys that'll score points. There's probably not gonna be much value anyway, so I like that. I know Gladys mentioned trios of running backs. Can I just tap myself on the back and mine of Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins? I was pretty happy with the way that worked out in terms of getting those 3.
Yeah, as soon as I saw your trio, I was like, I think he copied my favorite players. But no, I was
great minds think alike.
Yeah, I'm not as high as Chubb on like you are, but I love Swift. I love Dobbins. One of the reasons. The only reason why I couldn't talk about Dobbins on yesterday's running back show was because he's not that running back that I can fully trust that's going to get you a 70% workload. I still think he's at the 65, 60% threshold and people got to realize this, Lamar Jackson's part of that workload, but I love J.K. Dobbins. I love his ceiling. I love DeAndre Swift. I love what you did with your team overall. Your team is very impressive. You drafted like a very smart dynasty owner, and you drafted your team to win for 3 years. That's the most impressive thing. Like, my team might fall off after year 2, and I have to rebuild. Your team is set for like 3 years.
Yeah, assuming some guys hit, and it's when I traded, I usually traded for quarterbacks. I traded up for Dak, traded up for Cousins, kind of like Doc did. Basically, right after he traded up for Ryan, I was like, you know what? Enough of this. I need to go get my safe, solid QB3. Because I did take Zach Wilson. I don't know if it was a little early on Zach Wilson in the 6th round, but I think he just the potential to possess more upside than all the other guys that were there that were kind of like low floor, high weekly ceiling guys. But I wanted maybe something more and different with Wilson. So I'm not sure if I've reached on him a little, but I think it's my first dynasty share of Wilson. So we'll have some fun there. And I got Kellen Mond late. I may have reached on him a little just to get that quarterback handcuff to Cousins, apparently. So we're doing that now.
Yeah. It's just in Dynasty, it's definitely in a 12-team league. I think this is just my personal opinion, though, of course. In a 12-team league, with so many running backs, with so little running backs, like, it's not as deep as people think. Like, people think running back is deep, but yeah, maybe you'll get those running back 2, running back 3, but in a league like this, where it's a super flex, those running backs, you can get them in the 4th, 5th, 6th, but you had to pay for quarterback. So for you to get Zach Wilson, and I guess he's looking great in camp, and he looked good in preseason, you got him at pretty good value. If he panned out with Dak Prescott, that's a safe 40 points a week,
And again, the trade up for Cousins kind of ensured that, I don't need Wilson to start right away. Like, if he doesn't do so well as a rookie, it's really like when Cousins is gone and bye weeks more. We can talk about Hamid's team, because I think we looked at my team, Doc's team, kind of built similarly, built through quarterbacks and running backs. But Hamid, total different approach here. He took not only the first wide receiver but the second wide receiver as well, and 3 in the first 3 rounds right off the bat, and then kind of built later. So what do you think about that 3 wide receiver start? Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb.
I'll let Gladys go first because I have some serious problem with your team.
Can you scroll down just a little? I'm sorry.
Oh,
on this team.
Like that?
Yeah. He's got really good wide receivers. He's got the 3 really good wide receivers, right? And Robert, his wide receiving core is good redraft wide receiving core. Robert Woods,
Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams.
Yeah, but I think he may have sacrificed a lot to get them, and I'm not sure if they can carry him Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, the excellent trade bait, right? If he needs to, which he might need to trade. The team is built for now, I guess.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, who's Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Jimmy G. His running backs are kind of weak.
Yeah. I love you, Hamid. You know, I love you, buddy. But I felt like you didn't have a strategy in this one. Like, I get it. You got 3 stud wide receivers, and then you got a good running back value at Joe Mixon, which I'm not out on Joe Mixon. I still think he has that potential to be that workhorse running back. My problem with your roster, after that, you got running back by committee, Kareem Hunt, Mostert, Kenneth Gainwell, even Elijah Mitchell. Let's say, you know, he cuts into that Trey Sermon workload or whatever, you know. You were one running back away from completing the whole backfield of the 49ers. So, I mean, but the thing is, my biggest problem with your roster is your quarterback. Buddy, Tom Brady, 40 years old. He could probably win one more Super Bowl this year and then just call it, you know, retire. And then you got Deshaun Watson. He ain't playing this year. And then you got Jimmy G. He's going to play like 2 games and then he's done. So what are you going to do when 2 quarterbacks that are on your team are no longer valuable? Like, I get it. You could probably trade your draft pick, but once those 2 quarterbacks aren't valuable, your draft pick is going to be valuable because you're not going to win a lot. I love your trio of wide receivers. Trust me, if anybody knows, I love CD Lamb. It's not a mystery. You don't need Scooby-Doo to solve that. But it's just, I think in Superflex, quarterbacks are key. So a little bit worried. And, I mean, your bench worries me a little bit too. It's a lot of rookies and old players like T.Y. Hilton, Sanders, even N'Keal Harry, I guess. You know, but I wish you the best. I'm not trying to say that it's a terrible draft, but I think maybe gotten a quarterback earlier or a running back earlier that could have done better for the long haul. And yeah, but you got great value on Joe Mixon.
I think we can agree. I think it's the best wide receiver room in the league, which I think Hamid definitely wanted. And I mean, you better, if you're going to invest that early, it better be the best wide receivers in the league. But yeah, I agree. I tend to, especially quarterback, but also prefer to build through the running backs. But yeah, I think that the quarterback, because I could see the running backs making that work, right? I mean, with this receiver room, you're probably never flexing a running back. You're only focused on those 2 starting spots. Mixon Hunt is probably good enough most weeks, and then the rest of the season, I mean, obviously there's an injury that complicates things, but the rest of the season you kind of just figure it out from there for bye weeks. But yeah, I could see how it works, but I agree with you. Better quarterbacks would I think is maybe you could still build early receivers and still have made better quarterback decisions.
Yeah.
Trying to think what like that much different. I mean, to be fair, Brady's probably going to maybe produce better than in the next 2 rounds. But they're all just younger than him, right? Like Gerson mentioned the age. But yeah, so we'll see if Hamid can make it on to defend his team. But Travis Etienne was mentioned. I do have a question about Etienne. And I mean, the recent news, the Liz Frank injury in his foot will likely mean he'll miss the entire 2021 season. He went in the 4th round here of the startup, middle of the 4th. Just, I think we could probably say that's early based on the fact that the player's going to miss probably the entirety of the season. Mm-hmm. Where would he go post news now? Like how many rounds do you think he would drop if we knew the news we knew now when this draft was happening?
In a superflex?
Yeah.
Okay, so in a superflex, I think he loses like 2-round value, 3-round value. It's kind of like where Cam Akers was, you know. Just similar because he's done for the season. But the thing is, Cam Akers had a worse injury. A torn Achilles, a lot worse than a Lindfract. I can't say that word. Lindfract or Lindfract. Foot sprain. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, people got to realize that it is a lingering injury. I mean, Julio Jones still played with it, still deals with it to this day, and he had it like 4 years ago, you know. But for a running back, I think it's a little different because running back, I mean, right off from the start, you know, they have to choose angles and everything. Same as wide receivers, but I just think for a running back, I haven't seen or heard of a running back that suffered the same injury, so I don't know how he will come back, but I don't think it's as serious as Cam Akers.
Like Joe Mixon last year, I think that's what he was dealing with, which it cost him the rest of last year. But like this year, we're not hearing anything. Like he's not hobbled the training camp at all. Like we're expecting Joe Mixon to at least be 100% healthy, if not all the way back to form. So I agree with you. That's why like we see Akers at 708. Like I don't know that Etienne would fall to that range, but that's where Trey Sermon went. And I do wonder. I don't know if let's focus right in on rookie drafts. If there was a rookie draft happening, how do you think Etienne, Sermon, and Carter, who I think, I think at this point we're all putting Williams ahead of Etienne. I don't see anyone really having Etienne still ahead of Javonte Williams. I was pretty close on both anyway, so to me it was kind of natural to move Williams ahead. Maybe I'm wrong. Agree to disagree with me there if you think, but assuming that Williams is the number 2 running back in this class, Etienne, Sermon, Carter, I think could actually be a close discussion. So Gerson, how would you rank them now for Dynasty, those 3?
I just did this yesterday. I updated it. So give me a second. I still have Travis Etienne. I still have Travis Etienne ahead of Trey Sermon and what's his name? Michael Carter.
Yeah.
The reason why I would have Travis Etienne ahead of them too is because the ceiling is higher, in my opinion. If he misses this year, okay, he'll be back next year. They're not going to go out and draft another running back. I mean, James Robinson will be on his 3rd year, and it'll just be the Travis Etienne show after that. I'm really high on Travis Etienne, though. People got to realize that. I had Travis Etienne almost. I don't think there's and I'm going to get burned for this, but Travis Etienne and Najee Harris were almost the same to me. I'm a really big Travis Etienne guy, but when he got hurt, my heart was shattered. I was so pissed because I've been really high on him all year, but I think I have Travis Etienne, Trey Sermon, and then Michael Carter.
I just want to say that
for those 3. Sure.
In one of the chats that we had, real quick, that when the initial report of the injury came out on Etienne, the fantasy doc kind of called it and said that he thought that the injury was going to be a lot worse just by the way they worded it. Mm-hmm. So if you ever need injury status, I have Sermon ahead of Etienne, and I think a lot of that has to do with I just don't trust the Jags, and then Carter last. But I had Sermon, Travis Etienne, and then Michael Carter. First of all, I don't think Etienne and Najee Harris are like, I can't even believe you said that out loud. But
I mean, just last year everybody said Taylor, DH,
that's true.
That's okay.
But I just the running systems, I would put Sermon ahead, and then Etienne, and then Carter. I don't have any faith in Carter actually, at all. So he would be,
because it's funny because I'm strongly considering Carter at number 1 out of the 3 because I still am stubbornly have her ahead of Sermon. Yeah, maybe that's me being maybe a hot take, but I've loved the talent of Michael Carter athletically, so I'm just kind of sticking with that evaluation. I'm really tempted to move Etienne below both. Honestly, I think right now I still have it Etienne, Carter, Sermon. But it's the gap. There's no gap between them anymore. It's not Etienne, Williams, then a gap between the next 2. It really is those 3 together. And so Gerson, you have moved Etienne below Javonte Williams?
Yeah, for sure. Right now I have Travis Etienne. Is it Etienne or Etienne? I don't know. Let me see. I have him at running back in Dynasty. Right now I have him at running back 24. So he's right there with Cam Akers, actually, right next to him, basically. So, I mean, I moved him down, but obviously rankings change. So maybe next year going in, if like some of these guys don't outperform their dynasty value, then they're going to move down, but it'll be hard to evaluate that. Especially a rookie, that's the toughest thing. When rookie running back get hurt, or rookie players get hurt, you don't know how to evaluate them next year for your dynasty ranking. It's a really hard choice, and you have to pick your poison, whether to value them still based on what you trust the process or to value them because of their injury, you know? A lot of people did it with, what's his name? Clyde Edwards-Helaire when he got hurt toward the end of the season, but I still think CEH is a top 12 running back, so. But it's hard this year. There's so many running backs.
Yeah, it's tough to like have him any higher, like you said, than RB24, just because the injury, right? You've got all this production that's going to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments about these early rounds? Any players that stand out as being way too early, way too late?
I thought Josh Jacobs went a little early.
Where did he go?
506.
Huh?
He went ahead of both Sanders and Williams. Is that right? Or am I taking a snake off?
Yeah. 3 picks ahead of Sanders, 5 ahead of Monte Williams. Yeah.
I'm okay with that though. Honestly, everybody was good about the whole Kenyon Drake thing. I was more worried about the John Gruden thing. John Gruden I don't know if he just. Honestly, I don't like John Gruden. I'm a Raiders fan. That's the sad thing. I think John Gruden he's so stuck in the old school way. And, like, we get it, but Josh Jacobs did fine. I mean, when he got the workload, he produced. So I think they said it the other day that he was going to get the full workload, and we'll see what they say. I mean, everybody was scared of, Kenyon Drake going in there. But the thing that really worried me about Josh Jacobs is they don't really have an offensive line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what you're going to have Kenyon Drake block too? So I don't know, man. Like, I'm okay with it. I love Javonte Williams, but it's close. Like, Jacob, I think, is the player that probably lost the most value as a running back in the offseason.
I mean, he was probably a top 10 dynasty running back last year, and now he's barely cracking the top 20 in terms of consensus value. But now, before we criticize it too much, just realize here that Rojo Truther did get both Jacobs and Williams, so he managed to get both of them.
Right.
Nice.
So, kind of maybe, if he had taken Williams first, maybe not get Jacobs there. Yeah. So Gladys, between Jacobs and Sanders in particular, because I think, they're the same class running back, both offensive lines used to be great, but now kind of more injury prone. I get the Raiders lost players. Is it the pass catching upside with Sanders that, like, your initial instinct was, surprised to see Jacobs go ahead of him? Is it the pass catching?
I think it's no. I think it's the Kenyon Drake thing. I think it's the John Gruden thing. I don't think that Gruden would have spent so much on Kenyon Drake if he didn't intend on using him. And I think that we have depended on Gruden, who has consistently said that Jacobs would be more involved in the passing game, and that never materialized. So with them losing, what they lose, like three of the 4 offensive line, like their top-rate offensive linemen aren't going to be back this year. And
I think all 3 of their starting interior guys are gone. That's where a lot of the running backs are running at.
Yeah, so I think Sanders and Williams hold more value than Jacobs does. I just think Jacobs is, although all cards on the table, I did draft him in one of my leagues, but I got him late, and I just don't see him outscoring Sanders or Williams. Even Williams is in a timeshare with Gordon, and I still think he will outscore Jacobs.
Better offensive line, better touchdown upside there. If they're both splitting it, you'd rather go with the better O-line. Maybe I wouldn't say better quarterback situation, but
no, but definitely better O-line. Definitely better. I think he is going to get more pass catching out of the backfield. Same with Sanders. I might have even put him behind. Oh, maybe not Gaskin, but Chris Carson.
Chris Carson might outscore all 3 of them. Really, from that just seems more just the fact that he's already on the second contract, where the other 3 are still on their rookie contracts. Like, right. I feel like that's where the value is. But you might have got the most productive running back in that range, Gladys. Because I was just thinking, like Gerson, like we look at this 5th round, you went Robinson, Keenan Allen, Gladys, you went Jerry Jeudy, I went Brandon Ayuk. The argument to go heavy at running back early means that when you get to this 5th round, you don't feel like you have to force it with Jacob Sanders Williams. You could take a high upside receiver, and if you go back around, take Carson as well. Kudos to Gladys there. But like, I think that's maybe some propaganda for the pro running back early crew is looking at that 5th round. Like, I'd much rather have Allen Robinson, certainly Keenan Allen. I mean, you see DJ Moore a little earlier in that round as well. Like, even, Mark Andrews, I know it's not a tight end premium, but the position scarcity, I think at that point makes it worth it there. Andrews 508, Hawkinson 602. I thought both good values there.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jetty's team because he was really excited about this draft. He bugged me every day. He even tried to send me trades. I'm like, this is his first dynasty, and I'm like, oh, this is so cute. Look at him. Look at him trying to pop his cherry to make a trade with me. Nah, this isn't gonna work, dude. Nah, I'm not gonna give you my 3rd round startup for your 2nd round rookie of next year's draft. Come on, man. And I slowly explained to him the process. I think when you start up a dynasty league, if there's new people in it, don't be a dick to them. He should show them the way,
I did kind of feel this league was part of that, right? Like, part of a few people that aren't accustomed to playing Dynasty is kind of a teaching process for everyone. But regardless, like, looking at his team, I don't think you'd say this is a fish out of water rookie or a fish out of ice, we'll say, for the Yeti. Like, that they didn't know what he was doing drafting wise. Like, I think he built this pretty well, especially I really like the first 5 picks.
Yeah, no, he did excellent. I was very impressed. I really love his starting line, even like up to if he probably would have just taken a normal starter rather than Cam Akers. I probably in a startup dynasty, I'm not drafting injured players. That's for sure. Like Cam Akers.
He would have had to fall pretty far.
Yeah,
like it would have been several rounds later. I thought 7 was a little early.
Yeah, I think to be said, I probably would have taken Trey Sermon if he would have fell there.
Sermon went ahead of Akers. Sermon was at 701, right? So it's funny. Michael Thomas went just a few. Michael Thomas, Deshaun Watson, Cam Akers were all within 3 picks of each other.
Talk about 3 players that nobody wanted to touch.
And then Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
Good job, Achilles.
No, he did great. I think he also got depth. Like, his team is deep. It's not like it's really impressive drafting. Kyler Murray, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, and then he got his top 5 running back producer in Aaron Jones, and then he got Jalen Hurts, which everybody knows I'm high on Jalen Hurts. Noah Fant, and then he got Damian Harris and OBJ, 2 guys that I think can be very effective as a starter. And then he got the upside in Chase Edmonds if it pans out. I'm not a Chase Edmonds person, guy or whatever. Michael Pittman, Irv Smith Jr., that's some really good depth. And then Marquise Brown. I mean, all those guys are startable players. After that, it kind of falls off, but for a good reason, because by that time in the draft, you really are slim picking.
I think he was conscious to go for the young players, especially late, like a lot of those young receivers. It's funny. None of us are high on Chase Edmonds. I don't think anyone in this draft is high on Chase Edmonds, which is why he fell to the 10th round. Like, at that point, like, that's when it becomes okay. That makes sense to take him then.
Yeah.
When you get to the 10th round, it's just I don't see him. That, like, this seems like this is one of his lower ones. Like, this would be a lower than consensus. Like, he probably, and even in a super flex, be going in the 7th, 8th round. So good restraint to everyone on Chase Edmonds. No one reached for Edmonds. Good job. Great job, league. I mean, I think
Jared?
Well, no, I meant league in general, like everyone. No, sorry, I'm looking for James Conner. James Conner actually went in the 12th round. I thought that was good value on Conner, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good job, Brad. That's my co-host on the fantasy pod.
Yep, great value right there. If I had to choose, if you put like I don't know, a chili pepper, green reaper, or whatever, a ghost pepper in my mouth to choose between Conner and Chase Edmonds, I'd pick Conner. You know.
Me too. Yep, I agree. But again, Edmonds in the 10th, like, that seems like it's fair. Even if it's before Conner, it's good. Yeah, no, I think Jared did pretty well. Yeah, good quality producing starters, and most of them young. I guess Aaron Jones a little bit older, and again, rookie, or no longer on his rookie contract. Running backs on the second contract. We are a little afraid of that, but I mean, yeah, high upside quarterbacks, Murray and Hurts. Like that could be a lot of production from the quarterback spot every week. That could get scary for certain teams facing them.
But he also has Matty. Doesn't he have Matty Ice too?
No, that's Doc. That was his trade he made with. That was the trade. I think that was the Cam Akers trade. So he, just basically swapped sevenths to. I guess he got a future pick out of it. Doc, Doc doesn't care about 2022 rookie picks, right? So just trade him away to get the quarterback, which I can't fault anyone for trading up to get quarterbacks in this league because, again, for me that was where, especially early, I felt if ever I was going to trade up. I think you asked this earlier, Gladys. Like, I know for myself when I traded up for Dak in the first, that was very specifically I was trying to trade up at 108 to get one of those two, Lamar or Dak. Okay. So basically, as soon as Dalvin Cook went 106, and I knew that at the 108, one of those two quarterbacks would fall, I went after Doc, and Doc smartly kind of waited out and saw, I'm just going to take Lamar Jackson, dude. I'm not letting you. I'm not trading out the pick that's going to be Lamar Jackson. So yeah, in that instance, I was if let's say Jackson and Prescott went before that, I wouldn't have traded up to get one pick in front of you, Gladys. I wasn't trying to do that just to spite you, just to cut in line. It was very specifically to get Dak.
Yeah.
And then later, Kirk Cousins, same thing. I traded the pick when it was on the clock. No, I want this quarterback. That's the position where I'm willing to pay future picks or later startup picks to get.
I agree there. The B League, I couldn't figure them out. Maybe you guys can explain this to me.
It seems like he just accumulated extra depth and extra future picks.
Yeah.
Got his two quarterbacks and said that's good, and I'll figure out the rest. To be fair, Hawkinson as the first non-quarterback, it's interesting, and I thought it was good value there. But yeah, I'm sure. You gotta love that running back room: Gerson, Gaskin, Sermon, Jones.
Yeah, that's solid. But I guess my question is to him is in a 12-team league, first round picks are pretty valuable though, because especially a super flex. Basically, a super flex in a 12-team league is almost like you're getting an extra tier of value, because the quarterbacks are actually valuable.
This year there was 5 of them. Yeah, you don't always get 5 every year, but you had 5 first-round Superflex rookie quarterbacks in 2018.
Yeah.
So it happens.
And next year's what's it called? Next year's draft, it has a lot of quarterback, but they're not elite. Like a Trevor Lawrence, or you could say it's not like Andrew Luck level.
Fields was a 5-star recruit. It seems like the community saw Fields coming from a mile away too, right? I don't know that. I guess the top 2 are Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell. I think going into the year.
And don't discount Malik Willis. That boy, that man, he's a bad man. I'm excited. I'm excited, man. I think next year's draft is more for quarterbacks, superflex. For superflex, I wouldn't be trading my picks, but I did it. I did it anyway, because I felt really comfortable doing it. But it's just, in a build like his, he basically going to be drafting a lot of wide receivers next year's draft. If Terrace Marshall plans out, good. But, he's building for a lot. I'm trying to look at it. I'm trying to find a team, see how many picks he accumulated. Because he got 3 first-round picks, right?
Yeah. I don't want to leave the screen necessarily.
Go ahead. I'll look for it. Go ahead and.
But yeah, just kind of running through his team. He did get some good, Sterling Shepard in the 16th is probably going to outproduce that mark, even though no one will ever value him there.
Yeah.
Right. So that's in Russell Gage, same thing. So he balanced it well between getting the young guy like Marshall, but also getting some productive guys. Cortland Sutton, I'm not the biggest fan, but once you get him in the 8th round, then okay, that's good value. And if he comes back healthy and can be the wide receiver 1, it's not maybe not my ideal wide receiver 1, but it can be. He's had 1,000-yard seasons before, so he's not incapable of that.
So he has my first round pick, and he has Doc's first round pick. I'm not trying to get cocky or anything, but I think me and Doc have a top 5 team. So it'll be a later, probably like 8th to 12th pick. But I actually didn't see Sutton and Hawkinson. Now it looks a lot better. Yeah, I think he's okay, especially when you have Patrick Mahomes at your quarterback and Trey Lance, who I think is going to have really high ceiling. I love that combo.
Yeah, so I think what was the? Do you remember? That was the trade to get Aaron Rodgers, wasn't it? That let him get those picks where he got Hawkinson and Sutton.
Yeah, I
right,
believe
and
so.
the first. That's how that worked.
Yeah, I believe so. I thought Sleeper allowed you to see trades that you make, but yeah, I think that was it. Because I wanted to trade in, and I love Hawkinson this year too. But a sneak preview for tonight's show.
Yeah, no, I mean, he should get the volume, right? Like that's what if you could chase anything at tight end, if a guy's going to get tons of volume, you play him no matter what, right? I mean, Logan Thomas last year was a top 5 tight end, basically purely on volume. Like he wasn't outstanding efficiently in any way in terms of yards or touchdowns. He just got the volume. If you get 100 targets, top 3 tight end. Yeah, no, it should be the same case with Hawkinson, who I think, Logan Thomas is a pretty talented guy. He's a decent athlete, but I think Hawkinson kind of that next level almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on Hawkinson too. Yeah, anything else to talk about? Any player that, I guess, which player was like a massive reach that like you're shocked that they went this early? Not to just pick on anyone. You can pick on me if you want. If you think I was, I have Brandon Ayuk as my wide receiver 1. I don't know if that's a smart decision or not.
No, I mean, I'm not picking on this person or anything. I mean, I'm not talking shit to her face or anything, but Kyle Pitts to me was a big, big reach in my opinion. And I get it though, because he's a generational talent. And I hate that word too, because people use it all the time, but he's best tight end prospect since basically
Mike Ditka.
Who?
Mike Ditka.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible. I mean, he's not going to play tight end. He's going to be the Julio replacement. He's going to be the Julio replacement. But in a dynasty startup, I probably would have drafted a quarterback. That was the biggest shock I had. But other than that, I don't really see a big reach. I mean, maybe Deshaun Watson that early. I'm out on Deshaun Watson now.
Yeah.
I really thought he was going to practice, and then they were going to trade him away. But this is looking scarier and scarier. And Kyle knows this because we've been doing podcasts now for like 3 months, and I was like, I like Deshaun Watson. I bought low on him, but now it's just getting scarier and scarier.
Aggressively, yeah. Getting more and more, close to that side. Just the talk of generational tight ends and kind of the case against it. Noah Fant. I mean, and I know it's funny because Fant and Hawkinson, right? They're both first-round tight ends. They're the same team. Like they were the same team in college, same first-round class. Yeah. And I mean, arguably, like you look at the athletic measurables, like arguably Fant's an even better athlete than Hawkinson. Like really, my evaluation on Pitts is not that much different than Noah Fant. And that maybe that's my almost hesitation on the generational tight end is that I didn't really see him as Pitts as like a tier above Fant in terms of a prospect. A slightly better production profile, not much, like an extra 200 yards per season, maybe an extra touchdown or 2. But I think with Fant, we're really worried about that quarterback situation and maybe worried about Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. But I feel like without, I think it's the zone of tight ends where a lot of these tight ends have failed. I know that's more of a redraft concept than dynasty, but I just think Fant's going a little early. So as much as like I love Jared's team through 5, Fant wasn't crazy about it there, especially that he still hadn't had his RB2. And I mean maybe especially after the Sony Michel trade, maybe Darian Harris becomes a solid RB2. I guess technically his RB2 was Akers, but yeah. That'd be so unfortunately Jared's got 2 of the biggest reaches is Fant and then Akers. But I do like the rest of his team though. I think that the temptation might have been there to take McCaffrey instead of Murray, right? Just a quick question. For a non-quarterback, is everyone still McCaffrey is the number 1 non-quarterback still, even with his getting up there in age, relative to the younger running backs, of course?
Well, he's only like 25, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like compared to like Cam Akers was about to be 21, or he is 21. Taylor is what, 22, 23?
I started worrying about running back when they turn 28, 29.
Right, fair enough.
That's when I really started worrying. But no, CMC is still my 101 in redraft. If I could, I'd trade out though, because I think I see him being the CMC he is, but like this year, like top 5 rounds in redraft, so you can trade back and get a stronger roster that way. And I think there's so many players this year that have like upside with ceiling, like Antonio Gibson, Najee Harris in a second, players like hell. Now, I mean, if you look at what's his name, Dilly Sanders, I think it is. No, who was it?
Yeah, Dylan. Yeah.
No, Ross Jackson. His team, he has CMC, and he got hell of lucky by getting James Robinson into 7-12. I mean, if James Robinson was starting right now, he'd be a 5th or 4th rounder, like in a startup dynasty or even in redraft, he's gonna be a 4th or 5th rounder, But
Trey Sermon went earlier that round in that 7th round, right? Like, I don't think there's any way that Robinson's going behind Sermon anymore. Like Myles Gaskin, like he would, I think for sure jump those two and at least jumps around. Gladys, like, because after, like, before Sermon Gaskin, the next running back before that was you with Chris Carson. So knowing the news with Etienne, would you have gone Robinson or would you still have gone Chris Carson there?
I still would have gone Chris Carson.
Okay. I think I would have too. I don't know, Gerson, how are you feeling there?
Wait, what was? I'm sorry. I like Chris Carson, but so you said over James Robinson?
Yeah. If Gladys had that information, knowing Etienne was out, would she still have gone Carson there in the 6th round, or would she have taken Robinson instead? And she seems to say Carson. I tend to agree with her. Do you agree with us?
Yeah, I go with Carson. Sorry, I thought you were saying Trey Sermon. I'm like, you already know that answer.
Yeah. So basically, maybe give Robinson a round bump.
Yeah.
In his startups now.
Yeah.
But yeah, true. I guess as his RB2, and it's funny because Mike Davis, I think, is being super undervalued in Dynasty. Like 8th round to me, I'm seeing him there a lot, and that still feels really late. But that's kind of like this is where he's been going most of the time in terms of value. 809, right? So, he's going to produce probably. He's probably going to get 200 carries.
Hey, speaking of value, look at that 9th round value on Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Holy.
Yeah. I think for Ross and Dylan, both from Dylan and Ross Save Sports on the Full Press Coverage Network, they're part of the reason why it's a full press coverage league. There's that full press coverage representation we're looking for in the title. But for both of them, this was their first Dynasty leagues as well. And yeah, I think Ross has a good win now team, but then getting Mac Jones is a good, smart Dynasty move, especially as a QB3.
Well, that sucks. He drafted Jaden Hawkins.
Who's now on the Titans.
Yeah, he's Derrick Henry. No, I'm kidding. He's not Derrick Henry's backup. You know how funny it is? You put
he and Darrington Evans combined may not weigh as much as Derrick.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you put, like, Derrick Henry next to both of them, it's like, hey, these are my 2 little kids.
Yeah, we thought Deion Lewis was bad.
Yeah, but it's a solid team. He got a lot of young rookies too, like Jalen Waddle. I mean, I like him. I still like Jalen Reagor. I think he can bounce back. But I mean, to get
Johnny Smith in the 13th, I think is really good value. Makes me upset that I took Tyler Higbee the round before almost.
Oh, I think Tyler Higbee better than Johnny Smith, so I think Tyler Higbee can have a big year this year. He's going to be a top 10 tight end. And that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people hate Higbee because of his I think they said that he got like 50% of his work in like 3 games or something, his points. Who cares?
The 2019 season, he finished on so strong, like 6 straight games of double-digit points or whatever it was, and then that's it. That's the stretch of his career. I also have him as a top 10 tight end in both Dynasty and redraft. So obviously, I took him, but kind of, should I have waited around? But yeah,
maybe.
I think Higbee's safer than Jonnu, but I think Jonnu might have the higher ceiling. Like Jonnu Smith legit could be the top target, the alpha receiver in New England. Like that is the case. Whereas if that's not going to be the case with Higbee, like we know it's either going to be Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp. I don't think Higbee has that chance to like really be more than the number 3, but he seems like safe locked in to be the number 3 on a pretty good quarterback and pretty good offense.
This Rojo Tuesday guy, I don't know who he is, but he had a hell of a team. His team is loaded. He's got some really good value. 2 quarterbacks, great start. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jacob Williams, Cooper Claypool, Elijah Moore. I love Elijah Moore.
That's a lot of Gerson. That's a lot of players from the 2020 and the 2021 class.
Yeah, it's young. Like that's a really good dynasty. I guess you could say it's a dynasty. If he probably ranked top 3 for sure in dynasty ranking in valuation. Looking at Fantasy Pros, they have Jetty number 1, Rojo number 2. This is dynasty. Me number 3. Agent. I don't even know how agent. Hamid number 4. Doc. Sanders, Harvins, Kyle. Fresh Baked Bread, Ross Jackson, B League, and then Gladys. But I understand Gladys why she's last because she has all these rookies. So I mean that makes sense. It's not because her team is bad. That team next year, in 3 years, could be very dangerous, and especially since she still has her first round pick. Good job, Gladys, for keeping your first round pick. A lot of people probably trade them like me, and then
I've already seen Gerson and Doc do that. Yeah, so.
No. But I think this league is going to be fun. I'm excited for it. I just hope Jared doesn't win.
I hope no one but me wins. To be honest, I want to win it. But to be honest, like it's tough to separate the contenders and the rebuilding teams here. Everyone's
balanced,
pretty solid. Like we're really gonna wait and see how the points sort out once the season starts going to see who's going to be in what category.
Glad it's going to beat all of us. Watch.
I plan on it.
Yeah.
Hi. That was fun. Yeah, so I guess I've missed some comments here. Let me get to those real quick. Kevin from the Devi Royale saying, hey, everyone, hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining, Kevin. I know a fellow fantasy man, a fellow bearded Portuguese guy as well. So, yeah, appreciate Kevin and all those guys at the Devi Royale. It's great. Doc again. Thanks for the kind words, y'all. Okay, yeah, you really want to talk about the wide receivers there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, and Doc, sorry, just kind of chiming in, I guess, with Etienne saying Etienne out for 2021, but should be fine for 2022. Kind of what we were echoing, right? Like, I think we're much more concerned about Cam Akers and the long-term health. Like he may never regain what he was before, where we think Etienne, if he heals properly, should get back to what he has been.
Yep.
So yeah, it's funny because I did there's a league where I traded away Akers for a 2023 first, and then I had an extra 2022 first, and the team looks pretty good, and I actually even helped that team out contend a little bit. I traded away Wilson to get Trevor Lawrence, way to get younger, but that team's looking better. So I decided I'm going to trade away that 2022 first to get Etienne. So basically what I've done is I've swapped from Akers to Etienne and then went from a 2022 first to a 2023 first. I know I agree with Gerson that 2023 class looks a lot better right now. There's a lot more talent coming out. The draft classes you really want are the ones that are deep at quarterback and running back, and that has it. But we'll keep it down for now. I know in that one league I've already got 4 23 firsts, so I'm also trying to get, do that to that league where I just get most of that first round if I can. But yeah, so like I have no problem throwing out a first to Etienne on a team where especially if I think the first is late. It's not, especially in that league where it wasn't my own first, so I'm not relying on Etienne to make that first better.
Yep.
So just kind of some insight there of how much more I like Etienne compared to Akers, even though I had Akers as RB5 2 months ago in Dynasty, but Achilles tear changes everything. Any other comments, guys, about this draft? Any Dynasty drafts, trades in general?
No, I thought this draft was fun. I know I tease everybody saying you're on the clock or hurry up and bull crap like that. And I think what's his name? The he caught on to it and he started doing the same thing I did, and then we did just a running joke. We had fun.
No, it was fun. I think all in good fun for that. Yeah.
But I think everybody that, even the new people, even the guys that are bet, they all saw a little bit of everything. When we traded up, when we traded down, when you wanted a player, you go get your guy, or I think the new people also learned how valuable rookie picks are. Some people like Jared thinks the second rounder is worth a fourth round startup pick. No, buddy. But that's the way the league gets better. You teach them. Even if they're new, it doesn't mean you got to go pick on them. Oh, like the new guy, I'm gonna go. I hate using this word trade rape, but I'm gonna go trade rape him. No, you can't. Don't do that to the new guy, because then they're gonna have an orphan team, and it's not gonna be fun.
Yeah, I know. I think this league was kind of to inform not just ourselves, but also the listeners, viewers of both Going for Two and full press coverage. I think that's kind of the exercise. Really, is it's a dynasty league where we can kind of we have multiple shows. Like everyone in this league does podcasts or video of some form. So there's lots of ways this league can be talked about, and you can use it as examples on things. Obviously, one specific league, there's some things that we saw in this draft that you might not see in any other draft. But I think it's super fun for that. There's another point I wanted to make, but I forgot it. So I was rambling thinking I'd remember, but I won't. So we're just going to leave that for now. And thanks, Gerson. Thanks, Gladys, for joining. So if anyone wants to plug anything, feel free.
Go ahead and tune in like 15 minutes for the tight end show that I'm going to do with defense. It's going to be pretty short. I mean, tight ends are pretty straightforward. It's not really a big evaluation like running back and wide receiver and quarterback. But yeah, go ahead and tune in there. Guys, in three, let's plug in the Going for Two Grinders Championship. Go over there and make a donation and join the DraftKings contest for Jeff. I mean, this belt is badass. Like, I would love to have that belt. Like, I'm gonna get 2 championship belts this weekend, and I'm actually gonna I'm gonna put them back here, my fantasy league that I won and whatnot. And then hopefully that third belt, I can put it right there. That Going for Two, that'd be moneymaker, but we'll see.
Awesome. And at Fantasy GDFS.
Oh yeah,
on Twitter for those wanting to find out. And so check out the videos Gerson does. Check out the Friday night in season, the Armchair Fantasy Show, DFS. I know it's basically my favorite DFS content to grab. So I always love watching that, tuning in. And you guys answer every question that's asked too. It's great. You get a ton of information. Anything you want to know. Gerson, Tim, Jeff, they're all so gracious with their time. Even Gerson's brother Jason, when he's on too, always answering questions, always giving great insight. So it's a fun watch, and it's a very informative watch. So yeah, Friday nights for sure, in season. Check it out. Gladys, you want to play anything? You got Monday nights, you got Sunday mornings in the Going for Two network, and you've got a lot going
on. So, G's on the Sunday morning too. So Sunday morning, and he'll be doing some more of his DFS. And I think they're starting like a half hour early, right? So people have an hour now on Sunday morning to bring your questions for the what's it? Do you know the name, G? What it's called?
I think he said Going for Two live.
No?
No.
I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be on 11 o'clock your time, 9 o'clock. No, our time, G and I's time, 9 o'clock our time, 11 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday mornings. Bring your start sit questions. Bring your DFS questions.
Sunday Game Day Live.
Sunday Game Day Live. Yeah. Yes.
On the Going for Two Live network. To G's
on the Going for Two Live network, and then Monday, Kyle and the B League and Doc and I will be doing a wrap up of the Sunday games and doing. I think we're going to do more prop bets. Yeah, Kyle, this year.
Yeah, I think that I know we did that last year, but it always kind of snuck in at the end of episodes. I think maybe get a focus on. I mean, Going for Two, right? There's a lot of gambling, a lot of those aspects. So we're just push that further. Thrive is a sponsor, so maybe pushing the sponsor a little bit there. But yeah, I think really focus in on injuries, and that's why we have Doc there. Any injuries that occurred during the week, and what the immediate effect should be, and then from there transition to the prop bets for the Monday night game is plural for the first one.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice to do 2 games there. But yeah, I do remember the thing I was going to say, and Doc kind of reminded me, just saying thanks for organizing the league, Kyle. Appreciate the insights all. Looking forward to a fun year. So yeah, again, appreciate Doc and everyone for participating in the startup. But all of us left the startup by making at least 1 trade. Hamid almost didn't, but then I traded to get his 21st round pick. I gave up a future 3rd just because I wanted the extra chance at a rookie. So I went and traded to get Jamar Jefferson. Kind of the 3rd sort of handcuff in Detroit. I didn't get Jamal Williams just in case something happens to Swift. I've got Jefferson there, but also was to get enough rookies to put on the taxi squad. So I thought, okay, I'll get the extra startup pick for a rookie pick. Even though Jamar Jefferson was likely a 4th round rookie pick, but whatever, 3rds next year probably aren't going to be worth that much. But I also ensured that everyone made a trade, so that was kind of cool that everyone got at least 1 trade done in the startup, and some people with multiple trades. Gerson, do you remember how many trades you made in the startup?
I don't, man. I don't even keep track, man. I send out so many damn offers that I forget about them. I think there was an offer with Ross Jackson, and he accepted it. And then you guys were like, "You're on the clock." I'm like, "No, I'm not, dude. Like, not until freaking next round or something like that." Oh shit, I am on the clock.
Yeah. The point after here, which I assume is Julian saying "sup, gents." So yeah, hi, Jules, a fellow Canadian. So yeah, I don't feel so alone. No, I always feel so welcome and loved by Gladys and G. But yeah. Yeah, so sorry, Julian, but this is the end of the episode, though. We're just signing out now. But yeah, Dynasty Startup, that's what we kind of been doing the last few weeks. And so again, giving insights to this specific draft. Every draft's a little different, but I also thought we did a good job of the game theory behind why, some of us in particular made specific picks and looking at, okay, what did we do specifically and how does that fit into the larger picture of Dynasty? So I thought we did a good job balancing that.
Yeah,
Everyone wants to talk about their own leagues, of course, and teams, and we just did tonight. So thanks everyone for listening and letting us indulge in that. Yeah, definitely Julian. So yeah, fellow Canuck. I'm gonna slap shot out of here now, though. But yeah, so we're at the again going for two live at going for _2. So the going for 2 live network, all sorts of live videos. I know I've got the press coverage show with the big boss Jeff, and that was supposed to be last week. I had to postpone that, but we're going to do that on Monday, which is the 30th, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, the 30th.
Yep.
Probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, kind of like the similar time to when this started. And then yeah, going for 2. Great source for all sorts of redraft, dynasty, best ball, DFS content. DFS specifically, you're talking about Canadians, Canucks. I've got my CFL DFS article. I love to push out on people. It got released today, so yeah, check it out for DraftKings prices for the CFL DFS contest. I know everyone loves DFS so much, and G does too. So G, if you ever needs CFL talk, you can come to me. You give so much NFL advice that I love to reciprocate that.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
Yeah, so great 4-minute stretch. Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Gladys. Thank you, G.
Thank you guys for letting me be in that Dynasty League, showing me the ropes. Thanks, G, for having my 1 trade.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
It was fun. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do that.
You did good.
However, had I known you were going to take Pat again, I would not have traded. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was Gerson just being a little sneaky, not revealing that, right? Like you only say it after the trade's complete. But
no, I was really excited because I was looking and I was like, did I pick Pat? Oh my God, I got Pat. And then I was like, fuck, Gerson picked Pat. That's the trade I made with him.
Yeah, the Steelers bias.
No, he's going to be good. He's going to be good.
At least I agree too. I think especially that was good value there. But I mean, at least you got Najee, right?
I got Najee, yeah. I'm happy with that. And, yeah, happy with the Steelers. We'll see how they do. All right, guys. I'm going to go take some Theraflu. It's great talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Glad to have you in the league. Glad to have you on the stream. And, yeah, for everyone, for Gladys, for Gerson, I'm Kyle Senra, and this was the Dynasty